What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got the co-host, Amanda, back on as always. Good to have you, Amanda.
Always good to be here, guys. I'm stoked about these games coming up. I know we had some fun surprises last weekend, so I'm ready for some more.
Yeah, and we got special guest John Abraham back on. It's your fifth time on the show. It's always great to have you on, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all having me. Nice to meet Amanda finally. You always talk well to her, so it's nice to meet her. Got the Green Bay on. I see you, so she
I
ready.
gotta represent. I got my Darnell Savage.
You ready? You got the right Savage. Let's get it.
So this will be the 2023 divisional round preview. For those of you who don't know about John Abraham, he's a former 15-year NFL defensive end for the Jets, Falcons, and Cardinals. Played in 8 playoff games, including the 2012 NFC Championship game with the Falcons against the Niners. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All-Pro, and 133 and a half career sacks. So a hell of a resume, and great to have you on, John. And how are you feeling about these playoffs? They've been a lot of fun so far. Some upsets, some stuff like that, and it's going to be a really fun divisional round as well, don't you think?
Well, I feel like everything's going to be a surprise. There's no really things solidified right now. There's no really team that we think that's going to stick out. I think Baltimore has played well all up until let's see what Lamar can bring to this game. Kansas City is my favorite simply because of the experience. I've said that, but I have a thing for Jordan Love now. Nothing in that kind of way, but I'm not a Green Bay guy. I'm nothing like that. But how Jordan Love played in Dallas, and I think all these young people are playing for contracts because they try to look. It's time for me to get my $100 million and chill because like how these guys are playing, like even Baker Mayfield, I think he's playing well enough to be extended. I'm not sure if he's the quarterback for the next 10 years, but I think, they'll probably give him a good 3-year deal, after this year, just because he played well, and him and Todd Bowles seem to be working well together.
Yeah, it's great to see Baker bounce back after it looked like his career was on the downslope after the way things ended in Cleveland, the not working out in Carolina, but to lead Tampa Bay to the divisional win the division, get to the divisional round, and maybe the NFC Championship game. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on for sure. Amanda, coming up Saturday, Texans at Ravens, and CJ Stroud. How about that statement? Beating the number 1 defense in football, 45-14 against Cleveland. Comes in red hot. CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, probably the 2 hottest quarterbacks in the game right now. And do you think he can keep that up against Baltimore's defense?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be the same game that we saw last week. Obviously, I don't think the Texans are going to, hold their own quite as well against the Ravens. But I do think if they can get that run game going, they can stand a chance. I mean, we've seen them in games where they try to force the run and it's not working out. But, if they can get some good run plays every couple possessions, I think they can keep that Baltimore defense on their toes. But I mean, Baltimore is just a great, well-rounded team. So it's definitely going to be a big ask for the Texans.
Yeah, and John, I've been saying for a while now, the Ravens are my team to win the whole thing. Like, if they stay healthy, they've got the talent to do it. They're getting Mark Andrews back. We all thought Mark Andrews was done for the year, and he might be playing in this game and the rest of the playoffs. So that's a huge get back. I'm a big Roquan Smith fan. Ever since my Bears traded him away, I'm kind of a Ravens fan now because I love Roquan Smith. And in my opinion, tell me if you agree with this. I think Lamar Jackson's playing the best football of his career. He's balling, and he's doing a much better job of being patient in the pocket and not one read and take off and run. Now he's doing 1, 2, 3, even 4 reads, and then using his legs. Right? Do you see that?
Yeah, I definitely see. I mean, 4,000 yards, like 700 rushing. I mean, that's incredible just for a quarterback. And also, I think he's just being more consistent. I think even bringing Odell Beckham Jr. really helped the squad out. Just the confidence of a older guy who has a lot of fight in him and also wants to win another championship, but be in a championship and literally play it. So I think that really helped. Bringing Mark back, is definitely a veteran situation. Like in the regular season, he probably wouldn't play this game. But he's needed, and they know they need that just that guy. Like even if he don't play a lot, just having him out on the field. Like I remember someone told me when I played, they were like, John, 50% of you is better than 100% of the guy behind you. So
Yeah.
things like that really like really resonate in your head when you're a player. Like, I want to play this, I want to do this. So hopefully it's a smart move for them and they're able to do that. But I'm still like leaning towards Kansas City. I know you're a Ravens guy, but I'm still leaning towards Kansas City a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat. They're the proven winner, right? They've got 2 championships under their belt, and they should be the favorite. They've had their ups and downs throughout the regular season, but come playoff time, we always say playoff Mahomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the thing. But Baltimore, the one thing they can't do here, Amanda, is trip up against Houston. They have to win this game, and we talked about Texans Browns and now Texans Ravens. The Texans are playing with house money. Like they feel like, no one expected them to be here. No one expected them to beat Cleveland. And if they can keep it close against Baltimore and somehow pull off the upset, there's the pressure's on Baltimore here, don't you think?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, right now the Texans, like they're having fun, they're playing, they're a young team. So like if they can get Will Anderson Jr. going, Jonathan Greenard up front, if they can win those matchups up front, I mean, maybe get a turnover or two.
Yeah.
I think offensively they're pretty solid. I'm just concerned about that defense versus the Baltimore offense. I mean, it's been an interesting season for Baltimore. Right now, they're first in the league in fewest points allowed per game, total sacks, tied for the most takeaways, fewest yards per game allowed. They're great on third down. So right now, my question is, can Houston's defense, and we saw an amazing defensive game from them last week, if their defense can show up and play all out, they have a chance.
Yeah, I think the D'Amico Ryan's doing a good job of making everybody feel like it's their rookie year because
Yeah.
he came in just like, let's just play ball. Don't worry about all these excitements. Don't worry about this. Will, we know you can rush the pass or rush the pass. DJ, we know you can throw the ball, and just stay your confidence. Because I've never seen a team this young with so much confidence. And
Yeah.
even in there, like D'Amico is just like, he just whatever he played with, he brought to the team, and you can tell the team like they're a team that you would think was being a third or fourth year playing together. So that's one good thing I can say. And also, I think the big thing that Amanda pointed out earlier is the running game. Even with Kansas City and Pacheco having a great game on the ground, I think with the Buffalo game that's going to be big. And even in all these games, I think that we were so immersed about what the quarterbacks do now that we kind of leave the running game out. And I think the running game is going to be big in all these games this weekend. I think the running game is really going to matter.
Yeah, and one of those moves that I really liked was the Ravens bringing in Dalvin Cook. He had a quiet regular season, but come playoff time, if he could provide a spark, yeah, that would be huge. And John, do you think there's anything to Lamar Jackson's 1-3 in the playoffs, and you can't afford to lose this, right? This is the year for Baltimore to go on a deep run, at least get to the conference championship. If they lose this game and he's 1-4 and they've had the 1 seed twice and lose in the divisional round, like that would be a bad look, right? They need this one.
Definitely. I think he's pretty much slated to get the MVP this year, which he had an MVP year before. But if you don't go past the first game, even if you get the MVP, is people going to start talking. Even with the big contract, they're like Lamar. It's going to, and he's been dealing with it his whole career about not really being a quarterback. Not being a guy that can lead a team to this. But like I said, with the addition of Odell Beckham, I guess the leadership comes from just more than just him. So this is going to be a game. Plus, with a rookie quarterback, if this defense can't get their nose, up in the air, if they can't get excited and they can't, and I'm like, if I'm Baltimore, I'm blitzing every down until I get tired. Like I'm not going to sit back and let my corners be like, okay, well, you got this, you got that. No, we're gonna be in that young guy's face because we haven't seen Stroud really shooking yet. Like we've seen him have like a bad game, maybe get hit here and there, but you gotta like lay it out. You gotta like he needs to see zero all day, like just hit.
I was listening to Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio and Chris Sims talking about this game, and they're talking about how They should do like that where the defensive end stunts and comes inside instead of outside and pressure up the middle on CJ Stroud is the way to get it done because he doesn't drop back deep. He stays right up in there. Do you think that's the key? Pressure up the middle on CJ Stroud?
I think pressure up the middle and also try to get him out of the pocket. He actually is pretty good on play action and, even running out of the pocket. But I think if you can bring a corner sometimes, you can, like I said, you got to mix it up. Even though this guy's young, you got to mix it up so he doesn't know what's going on. Because I think he's been great at reading defenses because his deep ball is nice. Like he has a great touch on the ball. And even when he scrambles, he still stays down the field. So he's not like one of the quarterbacks. He's not like Justin Fields. He starts scrambling, you get kind of scared because he's going to run. Like he's scrambling to pass. So so bring as many people as possible as you can. Like, if you got to go into a 3-4 or 4-3 and change it up and just give them a lot of different looks, which I'm sure they're going to. They might have went all the way back to Old State and seen some stuff that, they might have shook them up. But that's the kind of stuff you do when you don't have a lot of knowledge on a quarterback. You go all the way back to his younger years and see what shook him up.
Absolutely. And Kyle Hamilton has been great on the blitz off the edge too. So that's something they should be using in this game. I'm all in on the Ravens. I got the Ravens winning this one at home. The CJ Stroud and Texans story has been fun. It's been cool. But I think it ends on Saturday. Yeah. Give me the Ravens at home. Do you agree, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I would love I love this potential storyline. I had a bit of a conspiracy theory last week. So CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, we got the youngest quarterback in the postseason and then the youngest team in the postseason. They both finished with a QBR of 157.2, the same to the decimal point. I was saying a great conspiracy theory would be for them to meet in the Super Bowl. Obviously, I would root for that as a Packers fan. But I can't pick the Texans over the Ravens. I think the Ravens, not that they're feeling too much pressure. I feel like Dallas felt the pressure too much. For Dallas, it was Super Bowl or bust. Dallas has been trying to prove themselves not a first-round flop for years, and so the pressure gets to them. I think the Ravens have enough talent, and the pressure will be, felt the right way to kind of encourage the win rather than, stress them out. And I think the Ravens have just been such a well-rounded team this year. As much as fun as we've been having rooting for CJ Stroud and the Texans, I think maybe next year might be their year, not this one.
Yeah, exactly. Are you agreeing on that, John? You think the Ravens pull this one out?
I can see Texas winning. I know it sounds bad, but maybe the conditions might be not as good for the Texans, though. It's an outside game, so it's totally different. And Baltimore is at home. They've been rested. I will be able to tell by the second quarter. I say whoever wins the first two quarters, I think the game will get out of hand for the other team. But I'm gonna go, for Lamar because he's the guy that the MVP and he's the one that I think deserves a little more acknowledged from how he's been playing in the last few years and the contract he got and everything around that's resolved. Now, do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? I'm not sure about that, but I do think they are a team that should be able to upset not upset Houston, but I do think they can beat Houston. But I don't think it's going to be a game like we think, like 56-3 or anything crazy. I think it might be 31-24. I think it's going to be a thing. I think the Texans defense is actually going to stand up and have a good game. I think it's going to be more turnovers than we expect.
Yeah, I agree with that. Man, I'm rooting for the story for Lamar to win the championship. Super Bowl MVP Lamar would be great for the NFL, but we'll see if he can get it done. And those Chiefs, like you said, are going to be tough.
Yeah, it's one thing for a quarterback to win MVP multiple times. It's another one to get a team Super Bowl win. Aaron Rodgers won MVP how many times?
Yeah.
Packers fans give a shit.
Yeah.
One Super Bowl, come on, cool, good for you, bro.
That's the truth.
Speaking of your Packers, they play Saturday night at the 49ers. And Green Bay is the first 7 seed to ever win in the playoffs, blow out the Cowboys, put up 48 points on that Cowboy defense. Packers come in on a 4-game winning streak. And as well as Jordan Love is playing, CJ Stroud is playing, I think Jordan Love's playing the best football in the entire league right now. 22 touchdowns and just 1 pick since week 11. Incredible.
He's been insane the second half of the season. We saw the full display of Jordan Love at his peak last week. he's been sensational. Like I came into the season with no expectations. I wasn't trying to, assume that we would have another MVP caliber quarterback. 3 in a row is insane. But I'm feeling the bug. I'm starting to believe. I mean, and we've seen that 49ers defense have some issues this season. So I'm hoping they're having a rough day. I mean, when they're at home, they've allowed opponents to score on 65% of red zone trips. So 8th worst in the league. So if we can make it to the red zone, I think we can pull this game off. And for the same reason that I thought the Packers could beat the Cowboys, is the Packers have nothing to lose at this point. Like they're just having fun. They're, in the schoolyard, just doing their thing, just hanging out with their buddies. I don't think they feel any pressure to accomplish anything. So I'm hoping they can pull it off for that reason. But I mean, I don't know.
Similarly to what we just talked about, Texans Ravens, the Packers story has been great. Jordan Love's playing out of his mind. No one expected Green Bay to be here. I think the 49ers are the most complete team in the NFL, John. And I think that the Packers had the Cowboys numbered. They've won they're 6-0 at Jerry World.
One of those was our Super Bowl win against
Yeah.
the Steelers, so that one doesn't count. So we're
All right,
5-0 against the
5-0.
Cowboys at AT&T.
Going into San Francisco, I just don't see it. I think the Niners are true contenders, and I think the Niners and the Packers run. Do you agree with that, John?
Amanda. Look, okay, y'all year is going to be over, but it's going to be a good game.
I said I was hopeful. I didn't say I think they can pull it off.
We're all hopeful, but it's just too many weapons. It's too many weapons. It's too much to prove from last year. Their last loss was pretty much. When I saw that, when San Francisco lost their last game, I knew they weren't going to really lose too much more. It's just how their team is situated, and only way I can see is from what happened last year, barring injury. I can't see San Francisco really. I can see them in the Super Bowl. Now the AFC, I'm
they
kind
should
of
have
shaky.
won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah. Like seeing Dallas lose, I was like, okay, yeah, Dallas might have could have been a contender. And not saying that y'all are not contenders, but I just think right now Jordan is definitely setting his resume up for next year to start kicking butt. Being 12-5. Being like one of those teams that's elite and people are looking for now. A little help on the defensive line and offensive line for y'all in Green Bay, and then I think y'all be contenders. But San Francisco just got too many weapons on offense and defense. It's just tough. Like I'm trying to think of who, but it's like the list is so long. I can just say they whole defense, they whole offense, and Brock Purdy comes out and plays this good. They'll win the game.
Yeah, 100%. And Amanda, you were talking about it during the regular season, how worried you are about Joe Barry. And this is a huge test for that. I don't have a lot of worry about the Packers offense. They're going to put up points.
I was just going to say that. What I'm worried about is Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle, Deebo Samuel. I'm concerned about that defense. And it was annoying, too, trying to pick this game and compare numbers. Most of the stats you look at for defenses are over the whole season. The Packers defense right now is completely different than it was in week 10, 11, and 12. So they're on the season, the league season, they're 28th in this, 29th in that. If they play like they did the past 2 weeks, I mean, they would be second or third in a lot of categories. But we've seen a lot of 2 to 3 week runs for teams for, backup quarterbacks and stuff. Like, how long does that success last? Is it temporary? Did they actually address all the issues? I mean, I've been wanting to get Joe Barry fired for the whole season until about a month ago. And now I'm like, well, I mean, is this going to stick? Are these permanent changes or is this just a Band-Aid? So I am right there with you. San Francisco is really into knocking the Packers out of the postseason. It's happened many times. This is the one team I didn't want to face in the postseason. Give me the Lions, give me Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Give me the Eagles even. We would have been fine in that game. San Francisco, that's a death sentence for Green Bay.
Yeah, you didn't really have a choice. Getting in as the 7th seed, even if you win, you got the 1 seed coming in, and so it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. Give me last week's Packers over Cowboys at 48-32. Give me Niners 48-32 over Green Bay, and I just
lower scoring.
I just don't think Green Bay's defense can stop San Francisco at all.
I don't know. I think it's going to be 28-35.
All right.
I don't think anyone's breaking
Yeah,
40.
I'll say
Yeah,
20, 28-17. 28-17.
2017.
2017. I think it's gonna be a decent game. I don't think it's gonna be a total blowout, but like I said, give me to the halftime and I'll tell you everything.
All right.
Um, and then John, I mean, as a Bears fan, you can understand my pain here. You go from Brett Favre, Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, dominating the NFC North, owning the Chicago Bears, my Bears. We're tired of it. Aaron Rodgers finally leaves town, goes to your Jets. And Jordan Love, he's supposed to suck. He's not supposed to be any good. This is supposed to be our time. And now he's the hottest quarterback in the entire league right now. How does this work? And do you think there's something to the way the Packers are developing this quarterback talent over the years?
Well, some of it is luck and some of it's being around the right players at the right time. But think about it
Yeah.
like Aaron had Brett, he had, so you gotta understand the standards are so high. It's like if I'm going to Alabama, if I'm going to South Carolina, I went to South Carolina, so I know we suck. If I went to Alabama, it's a different type of termination, it's a different type of thing that is set. Like you looking at like Hall of Fame quarterbacks before you, and you're coming in as Jordan Love. All the stuff that you think about your past is nothing. If you want to be great, like it's different. Like just trying to be a starter, but he had his. I guess his ceiling is so damn high. like if you want to be considered a good quarterback, you got to be better than these two guys. So his playing skill has to like totally be off the marks, you know. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think that it kind of reminds me of Pittsburgh with coaches. Like, you know, if you want to be a great coach here, like you think we're not doing our research on this guy, because when they got Jordan Love, it was kind of like, well, Jordan Love is going to be okay. He's going to be good. And now, like, bam, he's showing like what the GM saw, what the owner saw, what people saw in Jordan Love. He's showing now, and I think that the more he plays, the better he's going to get. And like next year, everybody's excited for next year now compared to right now. And just being honest, everybody like he started like this in the playoffs. Oh my God, I can't wait to see how he plays next year. Yeah. He's going to come with a chip on his shoulder next year, regardless of how this season over.
Yeah, and get some veteran weapons on that team, you know, instead of all these rookies, second year guys. And that's an excellent point comparing it to the Steelers head coaches, because I remember when Bill Cowher left and young Mike Tomlin comes in and we're like, who's this guy, you know? And he's got to replace the legends. And then look at him now, never had a losing season. So it's crazy. Yeah. But Amanda, yeah, is there some kind of method to that quarterback position? And confidence, I think, is huge. And Jordan Love's confidence right now seems to be sky high.
I mean, you talk about, you know, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has been nothing but supportive of Jordan Love. Like, yeah, something Green Bay does. And when they drafted a quarterback, I thought that was so just disrespectful to Aaron Rodgers, because when they drafted him, we weren't ready to part ways with him. But I think they drafted a quarterback a year or two too soon. And I think it caused, you know, some tension, and, you know, they got out at the right time, obviously, looking back. But in the moment, Green Bay has historically treated our veterans like shit. Like when we're ready to move on from someone, we just like quietly throw them away. Like there's no like public ceremony. We just kind of like start ignoring them and then do some shady shit. So I thought we were doing that with Aaron Rodgers. But in this situation, I mean, he has years learning from Aaron Rodgers, talking to Aaron Rodgers, seeing him play, like learning from the best. And obviously the way Green Bay drafts quarterbacks, I mean, they're clearly looking for someone who could be developed and be ready to start in 3 years. I mean, we're not taking CJ Stroud, who's ready to go immediately, you know? So, I mean, I definitely trust the coaches a bit more after seeing this season, but I had some major doubts when they drafted a quarterback when they did.
Yeah, and then my whole thing was, so you're going to give him, he's a first-year starter, and you're going to give him second year and rookie wide receivers across the board. But it's crazy how Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs have all stepped up, even though two tight ends, Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, like
Tucker Kraft, yep.
We've never heard of stepping up. And John, do you agree? I think Aaron Jones is a huge piece to their offense, and they need him to have a big game in order for Green Bay to be in this one on Saturday.
Oh, definitely. But going back to the quarterback situation, you think about when Brett Favre came to Green Bay, you know, he came and he had Sterling Sharp. And Sterling Sharp was a young guy that put up 1,000 yards too. So they almost doing the same thing with Love. You know, they got the young guys with him so he can build with them. Think about Aaron Rodgers. Like, he had guys that he can build with. Like Cobb. Cobb still following him. Shit. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest. So, you know, like having that, even like with Matt Ryan and Julio, like they have that kind of, like, even bring the young guys with them, they can kind of grow together. So, you know, it's almost like you already know what the guy's going to do. So I think it's very intelligent of them to do that instead of bringing a veteran guy, and the veteran guy already know what he want to do. Like, Tom Brady and Randy Moss was great together, but it only lasted really a year because, you know, you got two egos. But you got two young guys and they're trying to, you know, do what they got to do. So you never know. This guy that even when I can go back when I was in New York and we had Chad Pennington and had Lavernius Cole, and all of us came in together, and Chad did not want to do anything without Lavernius. Lavernius went to Washington. He got Lavernius right back to New York. So things like that they were putting together makes sense to me because I played. But you know, it's just a situation that you want that kind of camaraderie with players, so that their careers can be like a Michael Irvin and Akron type thing. You know, we grew up together and we came together. We had a running back with Smith, so they, you know, so stuff like that. Even with the running they have now, can build a team. And I think that Green Bay with how they, even like with Aaron didn't come in right and knock Brett Favre out the way. He sat there and watched. They did the same thing with Love. We like you. We don't feel like waiting 3 or 4 years and something happened to Aaron, we don't have a backup. So I think how Green Bay has prepared themselves is immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And
I will say something about the young guys though. A difference between Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers had his 2 or 3 favorites every year. There were 2 to 3 guys he would go to constantly. I mean, depending on what year it was, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, James Jones. I mean, he had his guys. Like, and with Jordan Love, it doesn't really matter who's in the game. Like, I was stressed out in games that Christian Watson was out. Aaron Jones missing games is obviously important because the running back. I mean, but we've had AJ Dillon go off. Like, Bo Melton came in for a game and put up insane numbers.
Yeah.
Like, there are people we've signed, like, pulled up from the practice squad, and then they perform that week. Like, Jordan Love does not have a favorite. He spreads the ball around so well. And I think that it's harder for defenses to read. And one thing we've seen this season, San Francisco, they don't really have any weaknesses on defense. I went through all of their stats looking for like a weakness.
Yeah.
But the worst ranking they have is they're 15th against the run in DVOA. So Aaron Jones is going to be a key part of this game. And then they're not weak, but they're a little vulnerable at corner. So if Green Bay can, you know, move the pocket, protect Love in the pocket, we might be able to get some big plays off.
Yeah, and Nick Bosa and Chase Young after Jordan Love. Let's go Niners.
Yeah, I think the Niners are going to win for sure. But I mean, Jordan Love has been good at avoiding pressure and sacks. But I mean, I'm terrified of Bosa, Eric Armstead. I haven't seen an official report if he's playing or not. Javon Hargrave, Chase Young, like
they're loaded.
Kid's going to see his life flash before his eyes a couple times, I'm sure.
So we all agree on Ravens over Texans. We all agree Niners over Packers. So let's go to Sunday.
I'm just gonna pick the Packers just to mix it up like you did last week. We can't. Like I said, I feel like we're gonna agree on all the games. I'm gonna roll with the Packers just so I don't have to root against them. So my pick is right. So if I'm wrong, fine. I went down with my crew. You know.
All right, good. Then I can get that 2-game lead in these playoffs. That's what I need.
Okay,
like
John. Let me just point out we did this.
The regular season.
We picked every week, right? Just straight up, not against the spread, none of this fancy shit. I finished the game the season with an 11-game lead, and every week he was like, "No, this is my week to come back." No,
nah. Yeah.
My problem was I was picking against the Lions, and he was picking the Lions. That's what.
The Lions play well this year. Yeah,
I rolled with the Lions all season. I only picked them wrong twice for the whole season. They were my homies, man.
I'll tell you my reasons why here. Bucks at Lions, and the Lions, to their credit, who would have thought they win the division? They get their first playoff win since 1991. They beat Matthew Stafford and the Rams, which I thought that was the perfect scenario for the Rams to come in and beat Detroit with Matthew Stafford. And to pull that win off was huge. Credit to Jared Goff. When he protects the football and doesn't turn it over, the Lions play really good football. They're hard to beat. But now you got Tampa Bay coming in, and I think this is a sneaky, very tough matchup. I think the Lions might be looking past Tampa Bay a little bit towards the NFC Championship game. And Baker might wake up feeling dangerous. I see you shaking your head over there, John. Are you believing in the Dan Campbell, Jared Goff Lions?
I listen. The NFC South was so terrible this year, and the
Yeah.
Falcons actually should have been in this situation right now. But I don't know what we did with Bijan. Bijan was 24 yards short of 1,000 yards. We had a receiver, maybe like 100 yards short of 1,000 yards. So obviously, like what they were doing, because they really did mind fuck us, excuse me for cursing, because they made us think it was going to be a running team. And we
You're
didn't
in the right
run.
place.
And I was so pissed off because the whole year I do a show here in Atlanta, and I'm saying like, well, maybe we're just trying to see what Ritter can do. Then we're gonna like let Bijan ball out. And if you look at a lot of the games, if they put Bijan in the game, and I know I'm way off from Detroit and the other games, I'm sensitive right now
Yeah.
because like literally we had the lead in the conference. We were doing good, and then we want to throw the ball. The guy turned the ball in the range zone. But Tampa Bay, okay, I think that Baker Mayfield played well last week, but I don't think that's Baker. Like, I don't think that's a 2-2 type of situation. I don't think he do a 2 games back to back. Coming into Detroit, they have Marshall Mathers. They have a lot of other guys. They have Big Sean. They have a lot of guys that are going to be in that stands, and the guys are young, except for Goff. And how do you have a receiver that's all pro, don't make the Pro Bowl? I mean, like St. Brown, he played amazing this year, and I think their defense is just going to be too much for Tampa. I think the game last week, they played a team that was already defeated. Philly was already like they played a team that already defeated. You can tell like there was no energy, there was nothing in that game that we were like surprised about. Like I'm watching the game and I'm looking like, why are they even playing? This is not football. You know what I mean? So Tampa got lucky. They got a sore team, and they did what they supposed to do and they beat them. But I'm saying that hopefully it's a good game. But I think Detroit is really going to control this game. And like I love Todd Bowles to death. I mean, he was my coach, but I don't think Todd gonna be able to get him through this one.
No, that's been our concern all season long about the NFC South is we were waiting for someone to run away with the division and no one would do it, And
yeah, it wasn't a good division. It wasn't a good division.
Yeah, like
I'm
Tampa Bay, if they beat the Saints, it doesn't even come down to a week 18, right? And they couldn't do that, and they barely beat Carolina 9-0. I agree with you. It looked like the Eagles players quit on their coaching staff. They just weren't into it.
It was bad to look at, man. Like the whole game was bad to look at. I think Smith played good. Julio tried to play hurt because when he got hit, I knew he was done. When I seen him got hit, but he's just such a tough guy because but he tried to play it out. But they team just didn't even seem like what was the point of even coming out today? Like y'all should just said the season over. I don't know because it just looked bad. Like it was no energy at all, and I was like, this is not the team. And also, they didn't get their push, and I was like, what? I was like, okay, this is terrible.
Things are bad then, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tampa Bay's defense isn't great. For them to be the team to stop the tush push twice, that's how that team quit. And this Detroit team is the exact opposite of what Philadelphia was last week. We're not going to have the center crying at the end of the game because he's retiring. Like this Detroit team is riled up. They were tweeting out how to break the sound records in the stadium. They wanted their fans to record 30 seconds of cheering and then play it back on their phone when they were screaming also and pointed at the direction of the opposing team. Like these Detroit fans are so stoked right now. The players are just feeling themselves. Not that they're cocky, but there's just,
they're cocky. They're cocky.
Yeah, but there's a difference between between cocky and like a bad way and like we're good finally. Like we're winning postseason games. Like we've seen Detroit go through some stuff to get here. And it's as weird as it's been for me as a Packers fan to root for Detroit. I've been pulling for them all season. And the energy they have and the excitement, there is no way Tampa Bay carries last week over into this week. I think Detroit is going to shut them down. And I love Baker Mayfield. I have loved him since Cleveland. So that's hard for me, but I think Detroit's going to whoop on them.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll give you my rebuttal on that. And this is, I think Detroit does win this game. I do, but Tampa Bay, and they have the talent to do so. Like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the deep balls there, the home run shots, the big plays, the ability to put up points on Detroit. And I love that defense if they can play together. Antoine Winfield, Carlton Davis, Jamal Dean, they can play man coverage at corner. Those linebackers, Levante David, Devin White, you got Vita Vea in the middle to slow down the run. They can keep it close. And John, what do you think about this? I've been saying this all year. Dan Campbell's so damn aggressive on fourth down, fake punts, going for two. And I feel like at some point that's going to come back to bite you. And as a defensive player who played in the league for 15 years, I think that if you're a defense and they come out on fourth down, aren't you excited about that as an opportunity to force a turnover on downs and end the drive with no points? Like that should fire the defense up, right?
Hell no, you be mad as shit. I'm like, God, hey, I stopped you 3 downs. Get the fuck out the field. Shit. No, you would never see a defense get hyped until the fourth down is concluded. Like, trust me,
Yeah.
if I went 13 plays and we stopped you on third and it's 1 yard and you decide to go, no, we mad as hell. We ready to kick your ass. But I think that's how you build confidence. I've always, since I've been going through like trying to work on my mental stuff and everything, the only way you gain confidence is going through stuff. Like if you want to be better at something, you got to try it. So like, let's say every time it's fourth down, he don't do it. Every time it's fourth down, so the team gonna be like, man, we ain't good enough to do this. We ain't da. So going for it on fourth down, doing all the trick plays, doing stuff to get your players confident. That's why I said it's Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell has that. He has that edge. Even since before, he always had that edge. So the edge is what Detroit has. Like, look, he don't mind his players running around with ski mask on. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole mentality you want for your whole team. Like even in Green Bay, you want to see the cheesehead. You want to see everything that brings the Detroit to the city. And that's what Atlanta is missing now. We don't have like people that are just diehard Atlanta fans that will rock with the team. You come to the building. He talking about breaking the sound barrier. Never happened in Atlanta because we don't have enough people in the stands. So when you add that to all the stuff that Tampa's going to be seeing, people don't understand. Like as a player, trust me, I hated going to New Orleans. I hated going to Green Bay. I hated going to New England. And it wasn't just because of the players, it was the fans. Yeah. Like as much as you want, fans know your mom, they know your mama names, they know stuff about you, they'll talk to you. You mess up a bad play, like they tell you like when the play goes bad, just get over it. They're gonna be on Baker's butt. Like they're gonna be talking so much trash to Baker, they're gonna be talking about his old commercials he had in the Cleveland, they're gonna be talking about everything. And that's the kind of thing that people don't see on film. They be like, well, what's wrong with Baker? Baker's over here. Somebody just called his wife's name 3 times. Or somebody just talked about his mama. So it's all this stuff that goes in your head when you get back on the field. And I think for me personally, it's either Goff or it's Mayfield. Like whoever has the best game is going to win. Yeah. I'm saying all the other players do matter, but these are 2 quarterbacks trying to prove themselves again in the league on 2 solidified kind of teams. And if they want to be as solidified as a good team, this win is going to solidify their career. Like Goff can go from just regular back to Goff. Baker can go to regular Baker after this, or it can be like, oh, they're going to champ. So it's a whole different situation. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and turnovers are going to be key. Both quarterbacks are capable of turnovers, and and the Lions, like I said, are the best when they protect the football. Amanda's heard me talk about that all season long, and so, Amanda, are you going Lions here at home?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Lions. They didn't allow the Rams to score in the red zone at all last week, so we know their defense is holding out in the red zone. The Bucks are the 3rd worst team on red zone offense all season. So I'm concerned about that. And I mean, we saw some big drops by those receivers last week, and they were playing against a team that was half asleep and already, checked out for the season. I do think that the Bucks might be able to pull off some big plays. They need to go play action here. Detroit is 31st against with their success rate against play action. So that's a good way to find some holes in coverage. But I mean, Hutchinson, I can't. I'll be rooting for Tampa Bay here. I want Baker to get the win. I think he's overcome a lot of shit talking, a lot of disrespect since he's joined the league, and I think he's mentally very strong. So I would love for him to pull this one off. But I think the Lions are the better team this week.
Yeah, John, you agree? You going Detroit at home?
I would say Detroit. I think whoever controls the clock in this game, the running game, which Amanda stated earlier, I think the running game is going to be very, very important. Simply because the more you have the ball, the less time you have to turn it over. Like just keep the defense off the field. We love that as a defense, and I think that Detroit has just a better team when it comes to stuff like that. I think Baker's going to do a lot of 3 and outs. I think he's going to try to press where he don't need to press, and not saying he's going to turn the ball over. But I think if you turn it over 3rd and 9 and you're getting in long downs, not taking what the defense is giving you sometimes. Baker, he likes to, sometimes not take a sack when he needs to. Sometimes sometimes just throw it away and come back and re-up. And I think that in his mind now is Superman time compared to control.
He's gonna try to force it, and that always goes wrong for him.
Yes, and I think Jared Goff is going to be just a little more consistent.
Yeah. And Detroit's defense is 31st in success rate, or skipped in my notes. You talked about the run. If Tampa Bay can get the run going, that would be great. But with Detroit having the best run defense in the NFL, they're going to need those receivers to not have those drops, because I don't think that run game is going to get off the ground. So I think it's going to be some deep plays that lean the tables in Tampa Bay's way if they can pull off the win, but they cannot have drops like last week. You can't be dropping Mike Evans. What was that?
Mike Evans.
I was shocked.
I was super shocked. I was just like, twice, like almost, you think about it. One was a little overthrown, but I felt like he could have went with one hand and got it. Yeah, it was definitely. I still don't believe that, because that was a touchdown. Like,
we talked about it too. His gloves looked shiny. They looked slippery for some reason.
He might have got some new gloves.
They were glossy. I was like, bro, rough those up. Go. I don't know, rub them on your cleats or something. They looked slick. And I was like, oh no, that is not the time for that.
My bold prediction: I think Rashad White is key, and I think that he might have a game, and he needs to if Tampa Bay is going to pull it off. I'm going to go Bucks here. I'm going to try to double up on Amanda here, get my lead to 3 games. I've picked against the Lions every game this season, so why stop now? Let's go Tampa Bay. John, real quick, to your Falcons, I got a scenario for you here. You know how the Falcons become legit and win the division next year? 2 moves that they should make. Number 1, hire Jim Harbaugh. Number 2, trade for Justin Fields.
I can see that being possible.
I'll become a Falcons fan if that happens. 100%.
I think every team in the NFC South next year is going to be better, though. I think the NFC South is going to be good. So whether you bring someone in or not, are we going to be able to handle everybody else around us? I think the Saints are going to get better. In my mind, I just feel like even Tampa doing this and having, like I told you, I love Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles was my coach when I was a rookie, and then he coached me again when I was in Arizona. So I know this is gonna put Todd mentality now. Oh, we good. We good. We can get better. So this is the challenge that Todd wants. If they keep Todd this year, which they should after the performance they had now, I think the whole NFC South is going to be good. And I'm not sure if Harbaugh or Bill Belichick is going to help when everybody else is getting better around,
Yeah, and they need to figure out the quarterback position, right? I don't know about Desmond Ritter, Heineke.
No, he can't come back. He can't come back. I just can't see it. Yeah,
gotta upgrade that.
I cheer for the young guy, but his red zone turnovers were stupid as hell. It was like you want a quarterback to be confident, not cocky. He got kind of cocky and didn't care about the turnovers. I'm looking like, bro, you can't cheer no more. Like your face need to be serious every time. You need to be like this. Like when we see you on the sideline, you can't be laughing, you can't be doing nothing. You got to be zoned in. He had like 10 turnovers in the red zone, and the games could have been so much separated. Like we could have won the NFC South so easy. It was like probably the easiest year we could have won it, like the easiest year possible. And I'm like, what the hell, man? What the hell?
Yeah,
and then the game was so bad.
It's one of those years where they were like, oh, he's got the most passing yards, but he also has the most turnovers. He's just yeeting the ball down there. Like, it doesn't matter which team's catching it. Like that's not a good stat to have. Like
at all.
So let's go to the game of the weekend. The game we're all can't wait for. The winner might have go to the Super Bowl. Chiefs at Bills. Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. Bills coming in red hot on a 6-game winning streak. A lot of people left the Bills for dead at 6-6. Like they're gonna miss the playoffs. Here they come. They steal the AFC East. They're hosting this game against Kansas City. This is gonna be a great game. Josh Allen red hot, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers last week. Amanda, I know you're a bit of a Bills fan. You got to be excited for this one, and in Buffalo, and maybe that's the key to getting past the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs haven't really been an underdog in a postseason matchup, really. I mean this one, I'm kind of hoping home field advantage was their key, and the Bills can pull it off here. I mean, the Bills they both had a great showing in cold weather last week, so it's not like the weather is going to be any issue for either team. But if the Bills can stop Rice and Kelsey, I mean, Kelsey wasn't as much of a factor as he usually is this season. Pacheco is going to be real tough to contain with that pass rush. But I mean, I think both teams have equally matched weapons here. I think this is going to come down to defense, and we have seen both great defense from both teams and some questionable games as well. And I think they're both heating up at the right time too. So I think this one could easily go either way. I think this is the most evenly matched game of the weekend.
Yeah, and I think the running games are huge. Do you agree, John? Isaiah Pacheco has become a huge part of the Chiefs offense, and the Bills got so much better when they got James Cook involved offensively too.
I'm just going to be honest. Just give me Buffalo to win. I honestly feel like Buffalo is just going to be a better team at home. I feel like the comfort level is going to be there. The weather shouldn't really matter because Kansas City. I think Kansas City gave their all in Miami. Like it was a good game, but I think that how they played, like even when you seen Mahomes run and got his helmet crushed and all kind of stuff like that. Like I think they gave so much just to win that game. I think a lot of their energy is going to be gone when they get to Buffalo, and I think Buffalo is going to be way more relaxed and ready to play because they know who they're playing. So I think Buffalo has the edge on this game for me.
Yeah, and Kansas City's had so many issues this year more than any other year, whether it's turnovers, drops.
The receivers ain't showed up. The receivers aren't showing up. Like the receiver, like you don't want to have to run Pacheco, but you have to because you got to be honest. You got to be honest with yourself. Like we throw the ball in this kind of weather, our receivers are not going to catch it. They can't catch it in good weather. So I just feel like Buffalo, even though I said I feel like Kansas City is the best team, I don't think that they are going to be able to sustain against Buffalo. I think Buffalo is just going to be too much power for them.
Bills Mafia is going to be going crazy. And the one thing that could hurt the Bills in this game, Amanda, is Josh Allen with some stupid turnovers. As long as he protects the football and plays like he did last week and has a great game, the Bills should have this one in the bag, right?
Yeah, I'm a little worried about their injury report. Right now, they had Benford, Bernard, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Taylor Rapp, and Spector, who all did not participate today. And then a little bit limited participation. Rasul Douglas is back to participating some. Tyrell Dotson and Teron Johnson. If everyone plays, I think the Bills pull this one off. But I mean, they're hitting the momentum at the right time. Halfway through the season, I had nothing good to say about that Bills defense. I mean, if Kadarius Toney had not dropped that pass in that game against the Chiefs, I mean, the Chiefs would have won that one. Like, it wasn't like the Bills and Kansas City when they met up the first time. It's not like the Bills pulled off an amazing win there. Like, it was a stupid mistake on Kansas City's part that got the Bills their last win. But I think the Bills have improved so much since then, and I don't think the Chiefs are really that different of a team since then. So I picked the Bills here as well. I'm with John on this one.
Yeah, I got the Bills as well. At home, I think plays a huge role, and we both like the two corners. Rasul Douglas coming back is huge for Buffalo. L'Jarius Sneed against Stephon Diggs is huge. But even if Sneed locks up Diggs, I'm a big believer. I like both the tight ends, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. And then Khalil Shakir has really stepped up of late, and he's a baller as well. Feed James Cook. I agree. The Bills should get this one. So Bills Ravens could be such a fun AFC Championship game. And then if it's Niners Lions too, that would be a hell of a game as well. So can't wait for the conference championship round. John, real quick, were you surprised the Cowboys are bringing back Mike McCarthy after that ass kicking against Green Bay?
Not really. I think Jones is just if he like a guy, he like a guy. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting on the contract situation with the quarterback though. With Dak, like, do we really want to keep bringing Dak back? Does he deserve $50 million a year? We haven't really. Nope. We make the playoffs, but we ain't doing nothing in the playoffs. Like, can we risk getting rid of Dak and bringing someone new in? Like, that's the weirdest thing to me because it's like they have to pay him because he's playing. But it's like it's hard to say like let's get rid of Dak because he played like MVP football this year, but in the playoffs you can't win. So it's kind of tough to say like, does he deserve the money? Does because as a player I'd be like, pay the man.
Yeah.
But if I was a businessman, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this with this guy. Like, okay, like come on, man, we got to at least win one, and then so it's going to be a tough offseason for the quarterback, I think.
That's why, man, if Bill Belichick's available, go get Bill. If you're the Falcons, if you're the Cowboys, go get Bill Belichick, right? Or Jim Harbaugh.
Well, like I said, they don't feel like it's the coach. That's what I'm trying to say. Like when you keep a coach and you keep it like okay, we didn't win the playoffs again. Okay, well, I don't think it's the coach. So they kind of telling Dak like tighten up. It's not the coach. Like you're gonna do what you say because we was winning games, but then the games we lost, you kind of didn't show up.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, John, though. So we've talked a little bit about what teams should do in the draft and going after different quarterbacks. So you're an Atlanta guy. Who would you like as a quarterback there? I mean, is there someone in the draft that sticks out to you? Are you a Caleb Williams fan? What would your plan be for quarterback for Atlanta?
I feel like Caleb Williams is going to come in and kind of have he's not going to be as super as people think. Like we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait for Caleb a couple of years if we want Caleb. And I think if we can get Justin Fields, I think it really would be exciting.
Yeah.
Simply because we talked about it earlier and, thinking about a guy that can move around the pocket and a guy, if he has a Bill Belichick or even a Jim Harbaugh, they can pretty much, hey, let's just do whatever with this guy. And if you can find, and our old line is not bad. Like it looked bad this year, but you got to understand the guys were running guys. Like this, we thought it was a running team, and then you telling these guys you're gonna throw the ball 40 times.
Yeah.
Now if you come this offseason and you telling the guys we're gonna be a passing team, they can do more pass pro. They can learn protections better. And Justin Fields can run a little bit better than Ritter. And Justin Fields has a nice arm. And Justin Fields wants to make a big play. Not saying Ritter didn't want to make a big play, but it's like you couldn't see it though. You didn't see the deep balls. You didn't see. We didn't see the Drake London that we was hoping to get. Like Drake London, I knew he was going to get 1,000 yards this year. I knew that Bijan was going to get 1,000 because we're going to be a running team and they're going to mismatch it with Drake. But if you watch when Drake gets the opportunity, when they threw the ball to Drake, he would go out of his way to make a catch. Like he is the number one receiver. I didn't believe it last year, but this year he was the number one receiver, but he just wasn't getting the passes. And you can find a way to get Pitts, and the Pitts thing is like when you look at Atlanta, just take the quarterback out, and you look at just the O-line, you look at the all-star O-line, you look at the receivers, you look at the running back, you thinking that team is going to be the shit.
Yeah.
So if you place a Justin Fields, a guy that doesn't give a damn about like anything, and he wants to win and he's confident in it, gives him a whole different. I guess the confidence was a little more, but he can do all the things you want him to do. He knows when to hand the ball off. He knows when to throw the ball. He knows he just knows different. It's just like a whole different situation. So hopefully, we can find somebody that's mobile. I would like a mobile quarterback, pretty much. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I'll say it right now. You hire Harbaugh and get Justin Fields. I'll go buy a Falcons jersey tomorrow. I'll be a Falcons fan. My Bears are pissing me off. I might be coming to Atlanta, John. So,
yeah. Well, yesterday we had Eric Kramer on, and I mean he played in Chicago for a while, and his take is that the Bears should trade Justin Fields. Like, do if you're gonna rebuild, rebuild. I mean, Justin Fields is not a bad quarterback, but this year with the number of draft picks they have and with the draft capital they could get for Justin Fields, trade him. I mean, trade down from the first round, reel in a bunch of late first round, second round picks, and just bring in a ton of weapons. So I
Man,
mean, I could see it happening.
We've been rebuilding since 1985. As a fan, my patience is gone. You know what I mean? Like,
You made the Super Bowl in 05.
yeah, well, then we lost to Indy.
Still we're there technically. So
Yeah.
But John, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's always a blast to have you on the show. Your fifth time on. You're welcome back anytime. And
Damn, I've been 5 times. Shit.
yeah, yeah.
Alex, he's gonna be sick of you now.
And can't wait for these playoffs this weekend. And it's gonna be a great rest of the season. And we'll have to get you back on around draft time or something. Talk some Falcons, talk some Jets, and it's always fun, man.
No question. I appreciate it. And, and I'll be better prepared because someone slipped today.
It
wasn't Amanda.
I want to check in with you at halftime and hear who your picks are for the end of the game. I want to hear if you think the lead's going to hold it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a great week, guys, and peace out.